Do you feel difficulty while understanding the basic concept of morphology? If you are a student of linguistics and have difficulty while understanding the basic concept of morphology, this video is for you. And in this video we are going to talk about morphology, and this video contains the content: what is morphology, aims of morphology, morpheme, examples and features, and comparison of morphology with word and syllable. I am Afifa Sahar and I am lecturer by profession, and in this video we are going to talk about morphology. Broadly speaking, language is divided into three branches, means the first phonology, grammar and semantic. Here we are going to deal with only with grammar, of which morphology and syntax. Syntax and morphology both are considered the component of grammar, and grammar is the basic study of the structure of the language and the set of the rules of its formation. And phonology is the study of the sound, and semantic is the study of its meaning. So what is morphology? Morphology is the branch of the linguistics that studies the structure of the word. Means it's a branch of the linguistics that deals with the internal structure of the word. We can also say that morphology deals with the understanding how words are formed and how the semantic properties they convey through their forms that enable human beings to easily recognize individual words and their meaning in discourse. To put in a nutshell, we can say that analysis of word form and the rule of its formation is morphology. So there was a German linguist, August Schleicher. He was the person who coined the term morphology, and the term is derived from the Greek word which means form. There are some aims of morphology, that why we study morphology and why it's important to know about morphology. After getting information or after having clear idea about morphology, we became able to identify what are morphemes, and it also helps us to understand the meaning of the morpheme as well, and it assign meaning to the part of the words. Part of the words means morpheme. So these are the basic aims of morphology. Moving towards next topic, which is morpheme, the basic grammatical unit of morphology. This is the fundamental unit of morphology. This is called morpheme, and this is the unit that has its meaning, its specific meaning. We have a lot of examples, but before discussing these examples, I would like to highlight some of its special features of morpheme. So it's easier to keep in mind morphology through its special features. So morpheme, it may or may not have meaning. Like there is a word learner. In this word learn has meaning, and er in isolation doesn't have meaning until and unless it becomes attached with the learn. In isolation it doesn't have any meaning. So a morpheme may or may not, it may be monosyllable or polysyllable. Like there are the words that are monosyllable, like pen, like hat, like duck, and there are the words that are polysyllable, like learner, like place, like unhappiness. So these are the examples of polysyllable, means a word in which there is more than one or two syllable. Feature number 3, smallest unit of the word that loses its meaning when it's divided. This is again a very special quality of morpheme, and morpheme is the smallest unit that cannot be further divided. It's indivisible. Like if we try to divide the word hat, how we can divide it? This is the word hat. If we try to divide hat into two words, like hat into h and 8, it doesn't make any meaning. And similarly, if we try to divide or break the word unique, here we cannot divide it. It becomes uni and q, which are meaningless and doesn't make any sense. So this is the quality of the morpheme, that they cannot be divided. If they are divided, they lose their meaning. Feature number 4, it may or may not have phonetic representation. This is something that is associated with the morpheme, morph, the idea of the morph, that we will discuss in next video as well. So phonetic representation, like the word hat, we pronounce it, it has phonetic representation. Like the word learner, both morpheme has phonetic representation, unique has also. These are all the examples that have phonetic representation. However, there are the words that do not have phonetic representation as well. Like there is an example of sheep. Sheep is the, when we take it in the plural form, it doesn't, it has two morph, means one morph that has its phonetic representation, and the other morph which is called zero allomorph, and it doesn't have phonetic representation and it's hidden. And this is the topic that we will discuss in next video again. So the feature number 5, these are written in the curly brackets. Like I have written apple in curly brackets to indicate that morpheme are always written in the curly bracket. In the order to clearly understand what is morpheme, it's important to draw some comparison between morpheme and similar related concept like word and syllable. We know word is the smallest freestanding sign in the language, means a word is a freestanding sign. It's a sign according to, as Ferdinand de Saussure talked about the word, and he believed that word is a sign. And morpheme is the smallest sign which can or cannot stand alone, means there are some bound morpheme and there are free morpheme as well. On the other hand, syllable is the smallest space sound in the language. Like quotes, we pronounce quotes in one syllable, and but syllable in two syllable, like syllable and bul, but it has one morpheme. So there is a difference between both of these. At the end, I would like to conclude this discussion as morphology is the basic component of grammar, which is the study of the structure of the language and set of rules of its formation, means the formation of language. And morpheme means the grammatical unit that has its own meaning. It's the smallest unit, and we have discussed its features, and we have drawn a comparison between word and morpheme, syllable and morpheme, to get clear idea about morpheme, that it has its special features, and because of them they are different from the word and syllable. Hope now you have clear idea about morphology and its unit, means morpheme.